Yeah, so Tsukiyama is growing to be one of the creepiest mofos I've seen in quite a while. What's up, people? It's 1/3 of MediaShinobi, and I'm here to review episode 5 of Tokyo Ghoul. So basically, this episode starts off where it left off, where it continues on Tsukiyama's lust or craving for Kaniki's flesh, which results in a 3-on-1 ghoul fight. And even though that's the basic summary, there's a lot of things to talk about in this episode. First off, we get to see a bit more character from the actual characters, such as Toka, who we learned that her friend named Yoriko, the girl she hanged out with in the previous episode, it turns out she does view her as a friend. I mean, I thought it was just more like a ruse to blend in with humans more, but by this episode we see that she does value her friendship. It shows that when Yoriko gives her food, instead of tossing it out when Yoriko wasn't looking, she eats it. Like, she's like, okay, I'm gonna eat it even though it's gonna make me sick, but she took the time to cook it for me. I'm gonna eat it. Gonna eat it. We also get to see Nishio again, who was that ghoul that Kiniki wrecked in episode 2. And who I could have sworn it was dead. I mean, granted, it was a lot of negatives and black spots over the screen, but I could have sworn he was dead. I mean, he had a hole in his stomach. But we see him getting attacked by 2 other ghouls, and Kiniki rushes in to help him. And when I saw that scene, I was like, okay, Kiniki, please don't be like a Naruto where you forgive people who've tried to kill you in the past. I mean, this dude tried to beat the living hell out of you and almost ate your best friend, and you just straight up help him. I mean, if that was me, maybe because I'm an asshole, I would have been like, nah. But yeah, Kiniki brings him back to his apartment, and we later find out that Nishio is actually in a relationship with a human woman named Kimi. And later on, she gets kidnapped by Tsukiyama, who, this is the messed up part, who sees that the best way to truly enjoy eating Kiniki was for him to eat Kiniki while he's eating Kimi. Yeah, just, what the So yeah, Kiniki and Nishio go in to save her. They get wrecked. Toka gives out backup. She gets wrecked because she's not full power since she ate the human food. It pretty much ends with Kiniki letting Toka take a bite out of him so she can get stronger, since she has the best chance of beating him at full power. And yeah, I was surprised that they gave Nishio a human girlfriend. And what's interesting is the fact that she finds out that he's a ghoul pretty recently. It was like right after his fight with Kiniki, and they've already been in a relationship beforehand. And even then, when she found out, she still apparently loves him, which I thought was very interesting. But the problem I see with this is I feel like they really rushed in the backstory between Nishio and Kimi. I mean, we see a whole sequence where Nishio's trying so hard to save Kimi from Tsukiyama. He's getting so beat up, getting stabbed in the face, punched up, choked out, and while this is happening, we see flashbacks of them together and meeting, and eventually her finding out he's a ghoul. And it just felt rushed. I mean, if we saw prior to this, I would have been more invested with their relationship, or would have bought it more. They should have taken off all those scenes with the doves, like ghoul hunters, and replaced them with scenes with Nishio and Kimi, so they can really establish their relationship and their characters. Because so far the doves really haven't been really prominent lately. I mean, they did mention them in the beginning of this episode. Apparently, dove activity has been increasing and ghouls actually feel more threatened. But I just feel like that was a bit more forced exposition than actual foreshadowing, since Tsukiyama has been such a prominent villain throughout this mini arc we had in these past few episodes. But that's just my opinion. And also, I gotta give credit to Kiniki because he really kind of stepped up in this episode. I mean, he took the initiative to go after Kimi, knowing that Tsukiyama is probably going to eat him since he can't possibly overpower him. And even though he had that Naruto-esque moment in the beginning, he's also trying to grow on me. I mean, he's becoming a better fighter at least, and he is much more braver than he was before. Another issue I have with him, though, in this episode is I wonder why he didn't tell Toga and that old dude who runs the cafe about Tsukiyama. I mean, he could have been like, yo, that dude you told me not to hang out with, yeah, he wants to eat me now. Can you help me out? I mean, he kept it to himself. I'm just curious how the hell Toga knows where they were at. All in all, I really enjoyed this episode. It gave more depth to the characters. It showed more about the relationship between ghouls and humans. It doesn't always have to be negative per se. And they just really ramped up the crazy train with Tsukiyama. I mean, my god. It's like human centipede shit right there or something. Seriously. And also the pacing was really well done. It wasn't too fast, it wasn't too slow, it just felt right. And that's all I gotta say, really. And one more thing. I know I'm beating a dead horse by now, but I can't help but to mention the censoring one more time. And that's because next episode we're gonna see two high-level ghouls really go at it with one another. And I want to know if they're just gonna blotch out all the violent parts, or it's gonna be a negative effect. Because, granted, I would pick the negative effect over the blotch out since at least I can see what's going on screen. But still, it just feels overly artsy and unnecessary. I mean, I know I've been talking about the censoring so much, so I'll stop at this point. Or maybe I won't. So yeah, comment down below what do you think about this episode. Do you still get annoyed by the censoring? And yeah, that's all I gotta say. So this is MediaShinobi saying out. Peace.